That's the Tax Act assignment. You have one of those for every chapter up to Chapter 9. Chapter 10, you have a written assignment that's due instead of Tax Act. And chapters 14 and 15, you have neither. Chapters 14 and 15, you're going to be spending, you'll have some homework for those chapters, but that's also when we'll be doing those final tax return problems. Okay, now I want to show you the tax return problems. Okay, so like I said, each chapter, you've got your smart book. You all know how to use that. You've used Connect before. You've had these assignments before. That's the one that, you know, it takes you through questions. It analyzes what your understanding is of the material. It asks you questions. And if you get them wrong, it's going to take you back to where you need to study it more. Okay? Homework, I'm not going to go through that. You guys know how to do the homework assignments. Quizzes, that's just a quiz, right? Extra credit. Now, you'll see this says 10 points on here. Just ignore that. It's going to show up as 10 points right now in your grade book, too. I have to adjust that. But like Chapter 1 has extra credit. Chapter 2 has extra credit. Those are 10 points each. Those are usually additional tax return problems. So the tax return problem, different from Tax Act. And it's different in the fact that you're not using software to complete it. Okay, so let's take a look at the tax return problems. All right, well, we're given information about a tax client. So we got Alex Montgomery, single, address, social security number, recent graduate, that doesn't really matter. Works as a video game developer, okay, fine. Form W-2 is right here. Again, this is shown like the Tax Act, the other Tax Act problems. But if you want to go into the library, you can look at the actual W-2. It'll be there. This is also, if you've got the book open, I'll show you. Let me pull up the book. Chapter 1. There it is at the end of the chapter. So, Alex Montgomery. There's all the information there. And again, if you want to see under the additional resources, supporting docs. Oh, I already downloaded it. This is chapter 1, and this is the first tax return problem. There's Alex's W-2. So if you want to see that, great. If you don't want to see it, fine. Doesn't really matter. It's all the same information as here. So what you're going to do on this form is you're going to manually enter everything. So Alex, first name. Now, some of these boxes have drop downs. That's convenient. Alex Montgomery. His social security number, 412-345-670. And he does not have a spouse. Didn't mention a spouse. If it doesn't mention it, assume it's not there. Address. Got a drop down. Let's see. There we go. It didn't say anything. Let's see. Assume the taxpayer does not wish to contribute to the presidential election fund unless otherwise stated. In addition, The taxpayer did not receive, sell, send, exchange, or otherwise acquire any financial interest in any virtual currency during the year. This is a cryptocurrency question. Every taxpayer has to answer this question. Now, if they bought or sold or traded or did anything with cryptocurrency, they have to answer the question yes. That question is right here. At any time, did you receive, sell, exchange, otherwise dispose of a digital asset? If the answer is yes, you'd have to click yes. If the answer is no, we're going to click no. And we can just click right on this form. So he is single because we have nothing to indicate any different. Make sure you read the red on all of these, okay? Because sometimes there's pertinent information there. Here, do not round intermediate computations. Round your final answers to the nearest whole dollar amount. Input all the values as positive numbers. So even if it's something that's subtracted, a deduction, you'd enter it as a positive number. Okay, so for Alex, here are his wages. Let's see, none of this applies. Age, he's not born before 1960. He's only, we don't have his birth date, but we can assume he just graduated. He's probably a young dude. So we're going to enter his wages into the appropriate lines on the form. Now, we haven't done this, obviously. When we start looking at chapter 1, you're going to know where to enter this information. So what you do is you find the appropriate spot and you just enter it. So total amount from forms W-2, that's what his wages are going to be. 344. Let's see. So this is where, let's see. Do not round intermediate. Okay. 481. So it rounds it for you there. He doesn't have any other income that they're showing us. So this is what the tax return problems are going to look like. So where it has a 0 is you're going to, on all of these lines, these are just some tips from years of experience with this. You need to read all the lines. Anytime there's a line where you have to total it up. So like this, line 9, add lines 7Z, so 1Z. 1Z, add lines 1A through 1H. Well, 1A has a number on it. So we're going to add that in there, 76,345. We have no interest or anything here. Additional income, there's nothing, but add lines 1Z through all of these. This is your total income. So we're going to have to put something on line. Is that 7? 7. Oops. Oh, did I put that on the wrong line? It's 1Z. 1A through 1H. Line 7. Oh, I put that on the wrong line. Should be on line 9. So total income, and then it's adding it onto line 11 automatically. And then standard deductions. Standard deductions are over here. And remember, it said to enter it in as a positive number. Well, he's single. Standard deduction is $14,600. It's automatically going to enter it down there, but we do have to do the math for line 15. Subtract line 14 from line 11. 14 is there, 11. So whereas the software did the math for you, now you're going to have to do the math. And the software entered everything onto the line that you wanted, you're going to have to do it. So 61,745. That gets, and then over here, Once we get to this point, you calculate what the tax is based on the taxable income. And don't worry, we're going to go through this stuff. In chapter 1, we go through line by line where I said the tax return, the tax formula. That's where we'll go through line by line, looking at where everything goes. I just want to show you how the tax return problem works at this point, how you're going to be entering it in. I don't expect you to know how to do this. Like, I don't expect you to know, oh, it's W-2 wages, I got to put it on line 1. Oh, it's taxable income, that's going to go on line 15. By the end of this class, you will know that. By the end of chapter 1, you will know that. I don't expect you to know that right now. I just want to give you an introduction to these. So on line 16, they ask for the tax. We use the tax tables. Remember those tax tables we used in payroll tax, but it was for withholding? Well, these are very similar. Very similar. Let's see. Make it a little bit bigger, though. So his income was 61. What was it? 61. This is one of the annoying things about this is the scrolling. 745. 61,745 is going to be, whoops, it's highlighting both of these. He's single. It's not that line, it's this line here. He's single, so it's going to be the first column. So 8633 is his tax. All right. Now, again, make sure that you've got, if it requires a total, you got to put it in there. For line 18, it already did it. There's no child tax credit. Amount from schedule, we don't have a schedule 3. Line 21, add lines 19 and 20, let's see, which is 0. Line 22, subtract line 21, 0, from line 16. Well, we got to put something in there because it requires a calculation. No other taxes. Now, federal income tax withheld. How much was withheld from him? $95.27. None of these other forms, no estimated payments, no additional credits. We're not doing that stuff yet. So total payments $95.27. Now, if line 33 is more than line 24, it is. Subtract line 24 from line 33. All right, so we're going to subtract line 24 from line 33. $894. This is his refund. Amount that you want refunded to you. Now, make sure you put it in 2 times. They want you to put it in twice, that he wants the refund. Because there's actually a choice. You can apply that refund to next year if you want. You can tell the IRS, keep my money, I'm going to owe money next year, apply it to next year. Or you can have them apply 500 of it to next year if you want. So there actually is a choice there. All right, you have 3 check my works on each of these. So check my work. Let's take a look. Answer is complete and correct. Looky there. See where it says that? There you go. Return to question. Submit. All right. Now, one thing I didn't do, there's another one. There's 2. So for chapter 1, you've got 2 to do. But I just did the first one for you. You're welcome. So that's how the tax return problems are. So it's, like I said, it's Tax Act. You get to use the software. Software is going to do the math for you. Software is going to, if you put it on the form correctly, it's going to transfer it. I mean, if you put it on the document correctly, it's going to transfer it to the form correctly. And it's going to do all the calculations and all of that stuff. Now, again, garbage in, garbage out. If you don't put it on that source document correctly, it's not going to generate correct answers. The tax return problems, you're going to do it. It's like you're doing it by hand, which is how they did it for years and years and years before the 90s. That's how, imagine doing hundreds of tax returns like that, and you're having to calculate, and then you make a mistake and you have to erase it. Do it. Sounds very tedious. All right. Questions?